Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for hopping on this call this morning. I want to review the portal for you, and this really is what's going to give you access to both view results as well as order patient specimens. And first of all, before I do that, I want to tell you briefly about the company just before we get into it. So Genetworks has been in operation since 2013. And the one and critical thing about Genetworks I want you to be aware of is molecular infectious disease diagnostics has really been our specialty that entire time. And really from how long we've been in the lab space, there are other labs that have been out there a long time, but they've specialized in clinical and toxicology and a host of other things. But from an infectious disease molecular diagnostics perspective, we've been doing this. This is our absolute wheelhouse. So when you get into something talking about COVID, you see all these labs that have ramped up and they've bought machinery and they've hired new scientists, and we applaud everyone for what they've done and how they've ramped up to serve the public need. But for us, this is another day for us, right? This is what we do from a science perspective, from a machine perspective, our processes, our procedures. Genetworks was tailor-made to solve and help be a resource to providers, to employers, to long-term care facilities dealing with the COVID epidemic. I want to walk you through this today, but I wanted to you be aware of who you're working with and the reasons why we're a great partner specifically for this space. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to what's called our Playground portal. So there's no actual patient information here, real patients. But the first thing I want to draw your eyes to, so when you log in, the first thing I want you to notice here on the left side of the screen is this big Genetworks logo. And I want you to take your eyes all the way down here to the gray bar underneath Quick Links. And the reason this is important is, listen, we're going to do this web tutorial and you're going to see this process is so easy. Having said that, if you ever get stuck and you say, oh my gosh, what do I do here? I've reached a little bit of a stumbling block. These are your cheat sheets. So the first thing, for example, the first thing we're going to talk about is how to order patient labs in the portal. If you click this link, this is going to take you to a step-by-step process in how to order these labs. And I encourage you, after we get done with this, is log into your portal, print this off, and have this right by your computer where you're going to be doing these entries. Because if you ever get stuck, this is a great way for you to problem solve. Additionally, if you're talking about how to view results, you get stuck there, you click the link, and you've got a how-to as far as reviewing your results when those come available in the portal. Last but not least, and this is really important, I know a lot of folks have collected labs and you're really well-versed in what to do and how to do it. But the challenge with COVID is everything's urgent, right? Everyone's going as fast as they can. And sometimes when people move fast, things get missed. So what we did is we put together a collection video, and I won't have you watch the entire video, but when you click on that, it walks you through the process of how to collect a sample. And if I go through it, it walks you step by step. So you see your step one all the way to some of the final steps. So one of the key things I want to point out to you is after you do the collection is making sure, one of the things that we see missed quite often is when the swab itself is not broken off at that score line. And then additionally, the swab is not inserted into the divot in the cap. And this is really important. We want to prevent as many leaks as possible because we want to make sure that from the standpoint of you and your patients getting their lab results as quickly as possible, that takes place. This is going to help prevent any type of leaks or challenges. So I encourage anyone who's doing collection, you share this video with them so they make sure that they do everything 100% correctly. Last thing that we see actually, and this may surprise you, but one thing we actually see as well is because of the speed and the urgency that folks are operating in, sometimes they miss the name and the date of birth on the tube. And it's just something that we have to have in order to run the patient lab. Even if we're in a situation where that specific patient, we have a requisition form in with that sample, we can't legally run that lab without those identifiers on the tube. So that's 100% critical.